Hello everyone, just want to make my introduction short. My name is Joey. I'm a technical presenter for most technologies like Microsoft and AWS and Google, and I'm also a mental health advocate. So for now, I'll be talking about the overall goals of mental health education. I'm still studying mental health education at Harvard University, and I'm just doing this just so we can have something to learn. And the better way to learn is to actually to teach. So I'm doing this also for you and for me to learn more. So without further ado, let's see what's in the slide. Mental health is part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, which is goal number 3, good health and well-being. There are a lot of them, like you can see on the chart. Now, my favorite's the fish, which is actually live under the sea. And I will probably talk about SDG in the future, but for now, we'll just cover mental health, and it falls under SDG goal number 3, which is good good health and well-being. So if you are experiencing crisis right now, or you are having difficulty thinking or dealing with your day-to-day life, you can call our NCMH hotline, and the numbers are here. And yeah, so we'll continue to move on and study or talk about what you really want to learn when you study mental health education. So I drafted around 11 objectives. So if this is going to be a long discussion, we're going to take some popcorn with you and while you're watching this presentation. So number one is to promote mental health awareness, encourage early recognition and support, build emotional intelligence and resilience, foster positive relationship and social skills, integrate mental health into overall well-being, empower through education and advocacy, prevent mental health crisis, promote a culture of acceptance and recovery. And we have mental health education for school, workplaces, and community. So let's go ahead to objective number one. Our goal is to build society that understand, respect, and prioritize mental well-being as much as physical health, where emotional care is normalized, documented, and celebrated. Um, for goal number one, we have to increase mental health understanding and literacy. So the goal is to help individual and community develop a deeper understanding of mental health, what it truly means, why it matters, and how it affects daily life. This involves teaching that mental health is not just absence of illness, but presence of emotional balance, resilience, and purpose. By promoting accurate, accessible information on common mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, and stress, these goals empowers people to recognize signs early, respond with empathy, and make informed choices that supports overall well-being. So it's just it's just normalizing mental health is here to stay, and it's with us, and it's normal. And we need to learn how to deal with it with compassion, with empathy. Right, that's why that's a first objective of your study is to uh, awareness, right? That there's such thing as scientific study of mental health education. That there's scientific way to do it. It's not just something new, or something uso in Tagalog. It's not just a fad, or we're just jumping into the bandwagon. No? No, it's not scientific. It exists and it's a necessity, and we must learn mental health. So awareness is number one. So it's letting people know. right? That's your one of your objective if you want to study mental health education. So how? So ideally, you would want to pursue formal study through accredited programs. There's one in Harvard and other local universities coming in. Now that's already integrated with, that's put into law already in the Philippines. So number two is to build a systemic education by implementing age-appropriate mental health curricula in school and integrating training in the workplace. And then redefine mental health as the presence of emotional balance, resilience, and purpose, not merely the absence of illness. There's also positive mental health in more study. And then you can host regular workshop on stress management, mindfulness, and emotional regulation to make it known to the public. We can also train managers and leaders in mental health first aid to recognize signs of distress and respond with care. It can disseminate accurate, accessible information on common conditions like anxiety, depression, stress-related disorder. And we need to dispel myths through creative engagement using videos, music, arts, uh, playlist, and community movement to make learning interactive and inclusive. So, your first objective is to know that mental health study exists and know the terms, know the principle and science behind it. And just like any other discipline, there's some science in it. And for objective number two, we need to encourage early recognition and support. So, for this goal, you need to empower individual communities and non-clinical responders to recognize signs of mental distress early and respond with timely, compassionate support, preventing escalation and promoting recovery. So promote awareness of early warning signs of mental distress, train and clinical responder to recognize emotional, behavioral, and spiritual cues, normalize help seeking through open dialogue and peer support. If they need help, they need help. So it's just okay to ask for help. Integrate mental health check-ins into classroom, workplace, and community rituals. Provide accessible guide on when and how to refer to professional help. Use role-play, testimonials, and movement rituals to practice early intervention. And then build trust-based environments where individual feel safe to speak up. So basically, mental health education is not again for clinical practitioners only. There's such thing as mental health first aid who are mental health responders who are not practicing uh, psychology or neuroscience and things like that. So they could be somebody who studied um, mental health study, which of course uh, help them to know how to do mental health first aid. So for this objective, how do we do it? Promote awareness so we can use posters and uh, songs and arts to highlight emotional and behavioral cues. So if these are manifesting, you could create person who's extremely sad and things like that, create a poster, post it into your social media so that it uh so that people will realize that he or she is having a mental health issue, or somebody from his or her family could recognize that signs. Then we train responders to conduct workshop, role plays for teachers, peers, and leaders. And then again, we normalize help seeking, and it's okay to ask for help, and then share testimonials for those who have survive difficult times, like they recover from mental disturb, um, you know, like they recovered from suicide and things like that. So um, if there are testimonials, more testimonials, or people sharing their own experience, and it's just okay to solicit help, then it would be great. It will be also be great for us who are mental health advocate, that our work is contributing something to the community. And then integrate check-ins, short reflection moments in classes and meetings. So, and then provide referral guides, offer easy to read visual showing where and how to get help. So you can put that in school, in churches, in government offices, or in your community, where to ask for help, or also on social media. And then build safe space. So create trust-based environment in school, barangays, and online. So you need to create this so that you can spot early. Uh, so number one is awareness. Number two is use that awareness um to know the early signs of mental health issues. That's your goal as a learner of mental health, to spot early signs of mental health uh, issues, or early recognition and support. And you should be able to support the patient, or your peer, or your friend, or your family members. Objective number 3 is to build an emotional intelligence and resilience. So number 1 is awareness. Number 2 is applying awareness widely to the community, so that they also learn how to detect the early signs. And when you do that, assuming that the mental health is not uh, you know it doesn't actually need medical intervention. So it's probably somebody was just depressed, or there's mild anxiety. And your goal number 3 is to build emotional intelligence and resilience. So you should be able to help yourself and help others to cope up. This is basically coping up. So to empower individual to understand, manage, and express emotion effectively, build resilience in the face of challenge, and maintain positive relationship that supports overall well-being. So strengthen self-awareness and self-regulation. That's your goal. Help individual recognize and manage emotion constructively. Develop coping and adaptation skills. Equip people with techniques to handle stress, setbacks, and pressures. Foster empathy and positive relationships. So encourage compassion, teamwork, and emotional support within the community. How do we build this emotional intelligence? So integrate emotional learning. So we embed reflection rituals, mindfulness moments, self-assessment prompts into your daily routine. So you analyze what you're doing. Are you still um are you still sound? Are you thinking clear? And things like that. And then reflection ritual could be yoga or mindfulness moments, or it could be breathing exercises. It could be any outlet for your um whatever it is that you're feeling. And then number 2 is use experiential activities. This is some sort of catharsis. Like you could do storytelling, you can sing in a choir or role play session to practice empathy and emotional awareness. Oh, so in your study, you can actually simulate role play session, right? And experience that. And then promote resilience habit, like encouraging journaling. So that's diary, gratitude exercise, and peer support circle. And then you can also provide learning materials, share guides, playlist, micro learning visuals, and emotional intelligence. So you can also model positive behavior, train leaders, teachers, and ambassadors to demonstrate emotional regulation and empathy. So in here you are telling people how to adapt, right? And you can use this method to tell them how to they can do that. Like you can do yoga, you can mindfulness, you can do self-assessment, you can use experiential activities like role play, storytelling, or uh, probably singing or doing catharsis activity. And then journaling. So this is what's happening to me. And then step 1, 2, 3. This is my uh, general program of activities for this problem, for example. And then provide learning materials, model positive behavior, and then you look for someone who had been there and passed that challenge. For objective number 4 is to foster positive relationship and social skills. So um, in this objective, you are creating already a positive environment that benefit you and your people around you, or even the one you are uh, teaching or you're learning with mental health with, right? Yeah, so one of the objective is that what your learning should contribute to a positive environment or a positive relationship. So for this goal, you need to strengthen the ability of individuals and group to build healthy, respectful, compassionate relationship that enhance mental well-being and community connection. Your goal is to promote respect and inclusion, encourage appreciation of diversity, and foster belonging in all settings. Develop communication and conflict resolution skill, teach empathy-based communication, listen, and problem solving, of course. Strengthen peer and community support networks, so build system of mutual help, trust, and shared responsibility within the group. So it's like if you are in a group of, a pack of wolves, probably you're teaching each other how to hunt. um, you, you are applying mental health in a group in that that grows positively. So it's like, yeah, let's do this and we'll have a better community. So that's the objective for goal number 4. And how do we do that? Facilitate group activities, so use team building exercises, collaborate, do storytelling circles to strengthen bonds, teach communication skill, incorporate role play, reflection prompts, and empathy workshop into the programs. Uh, we don't usually teach that, right? Teaching empathy is to understand other, right? And create a peer support system, establish body program, mentor mentoring pairs, and community care groups. This the body program is very very prominent. You can see that in the military. You walk everywhere you go. You're with your body to support you, and there's always two of you wherever you go. So that's called a body program, and that's also uh, prominent in. You can see that also in the activists, where their lives are in danger, so they go body. So if one get lost, both of you will get lost, if somebody dies, both of you die. So but it's much difficult for for crime perpetrator if you're in a body system, because somebody is supporting you, and they are going to get two people rather than one, so you have a teammate that supports you. So yeah, this is a good strategy to I think body system can be a good practice to foster positive relationship within your organization, and to implement, of course, mental health. And then integrate the relationship education, to embed social skill modules into social curricula and workplace onboarding. Promote inclusion campaigns, so like hashtags, visuals, and community challenge that celebrate unity and kindness. So hashtags, we have 40 seconds of hope. That's a concrete example of that. So that's for how you are going to foster positive relationship and social skills. I didn't know that before this. Okay, so why do I have four slides like that? Okay, objective number 5 is to integrate mental health into overall well-being. So you learn now, you apply what you have learned. So this is to highlight the connection between mental, physical, and social and spiritual health, and promoting a balanced lifestyle where mental well-being is seen as an essential part of total wellness. So promote holistic health awareness, emphasize the link between body, mind, and spirit in achieving well-being, which is this is very prominent on your very visible in yoga and gym and martial arts. You encourage healthy daily habits, so advocate for regular sleep, exercise, nutrition, and mindfulness practice. Embed mental wellness in routine, so integrate simple mental health rituals into schools, workplace, and community life. So yeah, so more examples on how to integrate that. So to integrate wellness activity, include mindfulness break, breathing exercises, and physical movement in your daily schedules. Share visual guide on sleep hygiene, balanced nutrition, and exercise routines. Embed in institution mind and body segment in school program, workplace training, and community events. So you could have that activity or school programs or training in your community, or required training if you're in the corporate world. You can leverage digital platform, use playlists, social media campaigns, mobile apps to encourage ongoing self-care. Oh, yeah, there's mobile apps. Collaborate with wellness partners. So partner with gyms, clinics, and paid organization to offer holistic well-being programs. So putting it in action for objective number 5, right? For objective number 6, now that you learn and you know, that's awareness. And okay, let's go back to that. First, your awareness, and then you recognize if there's a mental health issue. Now you equip yourself with emotional intelligence and resilience, and you foster positive relationship and social skills. Now you integrate your mental health into your overall well-being. Practice yoga, you practice mindfulness, breathing exercises. Now it's your time to return the favor or give back to the community and teach. So that's your that's your goal number 6. So you should be for goal number 6, you are already equipped to equip others, educators, leaders, and uh, other people with knowledge and confidence to promote mental health awareness, advocate also for supportive policies, and lead positive cultural change. So now you are being an agent of change. So the goal is to strengthen mental health literacy and skill, provide continuous learning opportunities on mental health topics, and first respond care. 2 is to build a network of advocate and leader, empower teacher, student, and community leader to champion mental wellness initiative. 3 is to promote policy and resource support. So encourage institution to invest in sustainable program funding and inclusive mental health policies. So how do we empower other people? So offer capacity building workshop, train educators, leaders, and ambassador in mental health awareness and peer support, launch advocacy campaign, use social media, community events, and storytelling to amplify mental health voices. Then develop learning resources just like this one, create toolkits, digital scrolls, and Canva visual for easy classroom or workplace use. Engage policymakers and institutions, collaborate with LGUs, schools, and private sectors to adopt inclusive wellness policy. Sustain community movement, establish long-term volunteer or ambassador program to keep advocacy alive and active. For objective number 7, we need to prevent mental health crisis. So this is a very important part in your learning because we don't have this right now. I've seen this many times and it really can happen. But let's go with the goal. It's to reduce the occurrence and severity of mental health crisis by promoting early intervention, proactive care, and strong community response system. So goal is to strengthen early detection system, encourage regular screening and observation in school, workplace, and community, promote crisis response readiness, train key individual and basic crisis management and mental first aid, build sustainable support networks, establish partnership between families, school, and health providers for coordinated healthcare. So let me just why this is really very important. This is the most important part of this is to prevent mental health crisis from happening. So how I've seen this so many times in so many places. So I think the first one is when we were in high school, um our school was struck by a lightning, but it's just a post. And we're about to go home, and 5 people collapse simultaneously at the same time. And it's a very difficult. They were not hit by a lightning per se, but they were just afraid. And it just create a different, people behave differently on cases like that. So people started collapsing, and there were 5 people collapse right away. So it's very difficult to manage. So and then I think when I was in the PMA, we were and there's a chance or there's a time when we have to do a blood extraction. You extract blood for serology, blood count, and other blood examination. And we did blood extraction at 3 o'clock in the morning. So after blood extraction, you are to report directly or go right away outside the building. It's just fortunate that you know our senior military professionals are there and they know what's going on. So basically, when somebody extracted blood from you, the possibility of you collapsing is or some people is high. And I think for our batch, we have around 200 people doing blood extraction 3 o'clock in the morning. It's divided into 2 days, so that's approximately 100 people. So after taking the blood extraction, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so that worsen the scenario. You have to go out in the field, and all the blood after all of us gone through the process, 5 people collapse at the same time. So it's also difficult to see, and we panic. We don't know that things are, that people will start to collapse. And my God, these people are military candidates, and still they collapse at the same time. So it's because they have phobia on blood. So they have a mental crisis simultaneously. They collapse, all of them, and they have a blackout, and it's difficult to manage. And then I think the other scenario was when I was in college, that everyone in the university will have to take this course for about music, because people are going insane because there's something in the music, and they have to undergo several training to be able to uh, know and select our music. So it happens. It was facilitated by our school, and there are people from the United States who help us to do that. So it happens in our university as well. So this is very important, because right now we don't have this mindset that a mental health crisis, a big one, can happen. It can be it can be caused by something that's natural, like a lightning strike the university in the middle of so many people, and people start collapsing, or probably the disasters that are happening right now, like a 6.7 magnitude quake. It will also create mental health crisis. Some people will collapse and will not be able to, you know, they might put themselves in danger. Or the other scenario is, um, there are school where possession of evil spirit is happening. It could be true, or it could be just like the lightning. People get scared and they start collapsing, and suddenly 20 students starts collapsing in your school. So how are you going to deal with that? So that's actually a mental health crisis as well, even if it's uh possession from evil spirit. And we saw that in live TV. So it's not we're not inventing things. And the other things that we are not prepared is that this could probably happen in a big venue, like a concert. So it could be triggered by music, or it could be triggered by loud sounds. It could be triggered by anything that they could put into the sound system, and we're not prepared for that. And it could trigger mental health crisis. And if we encounter a Araneta Coliseum wide mental health crisis, we're not prepared to do that. But it can happen. The triggers could vary from music or anything, or just maybe a lightning or some sort of not inside the dome, but maybe something collapse, or just like something some part of the building collapse or things like that. So it could trigger crisis. not just mental health crisis, but an entire crowd surge, or yeah, uh, crowd crisis, stampede, right? The We have seen that happening in um, yes, yeah, you could consider stampede as a some sort of that. It's just because people panic, they were not able to think, and they're afraid, they're in panic, and they don't know what they're doing, and it resulted into a stampede or something like that. So those are the things we need to prepare mental health crisis happening. So it could vary. It could The trigger could be anything, right? We don't know yet. So this is what we're trying to prepare, in the future. If it happens, uh, we are capable of doing mental health first aid. We know it's going to happen, and we have the idea. For example, it could be we should be able to call out, things like, I think this can trigger, like, so somber songs like that could uh, probably trigger a very wide mental health crisis. So we should be able to call those things out. Right now, we don't have that. We cannot call the artist, like, uh, your song, there's something wrong with your song. So in the advent of more studies with mental health, we should be able to call those things out if we think it would, create a mental health problem or large population. So how do we do that? Implement early warning programs. So integrate simple screening tools and emotional check-in, daily routines. Train crisis responder and peer allies. So offer workshop on suicide prevention, de-escalation, and emotional first aid. Establish 24/7 help channels. We already have this in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. We have one from the National Center for Mental Health, and promote hotlines, chatlines, and digital support platforms. We also have one from Hopeline Philippines. Um, we need to simulate crisis scenario, conduct school or barangay role play to practice calm, coordinated response. So we have earthquake drills and fire drills, but we don't have a mental health crisis scenario yet, because it's not yet happening. But it doesn't mean it will not. So we also need to create a rapid referral network, so partner with local clinics, NGO, and counselor to provide timely professional help, promote post-crisis healing and reflection, offer debriefing session, community rituals, and faith-based healing gatherings. And then promote, uh, since we're already prepared for a big crisis, to big mental health crisis, the other objective is to promote a culture of acceptance and recovery. So some people will really undergo mental health problems, and we should be able to create environments, online or offline, or in movement spaces where individual feels safe to express their struggle, receive support without judgment, and celebrate recovery as shared journey. So our objective is to normalize emotional vulnerability and recovery story, challenge shame and silence around mental health, celebrate a diverse healing journey, train ambassador to model acceptance and care, use creative platforms to ritualize recovery, design inclusive visual and handouts, integrate recovery culture in school, workplaces, and paid spaces. So, yeah, how can we do this more? You can use testimonials, music and arts or playlist that honor live experience and live cast and things like that honor live experience and inspire empathy. So your music should be able to inspire empathy and positive outlook. Dismantle stigma, launch scrolls, visual and social media storytelling that normalize mental health conversation, celebrate diverse healing by highlighting neurodiversity, spiritual renewal, and community-based recovery journey. Neurodiversity, some people are thinking differently. Empowers change makers, equip educator, youth, and creators with script, rituals, and onboarding scroll to lead with care. Integrate healing in creative works. So we're not doing this, but if the art or the uh, art sector would be doing this, that would be a great help. So if you'll be doing mental health in your theater or movies or music, that would be a lot of help. Even in toy content. So, or choir skit or expressive community media. You can also design hopeful visual. That's the key there. Create an impacting hope, infectious hope that impacts everyone. So you can create a Canva ready scroll and graphic that affirms dignity, silence, and emotional safety. Foster daily connection, so add emotional check-in, reflection rituals, and peer support in classroom teams and community spaces. And for objective number 8 is as for mental health education for schools. So the goal is to integrate it into teaching curriculum, build emotionally intelligent, resilient, and compassionate learning environment where student and educator understand, support, and prioritize mental well-being. So you have to go back from the very first objective: promote awareness, encourage early support, build resilience, foster inclusion, and but you have to engage family and community because there's a problem in your students in school, especially for early ages. It might have been probably triggered by the family. So to promote awareness, teach emotion and stress and empathy, reduce stigma through stories and open dialogue, train teachers and students to spot warning signs, strengthen counseling and referral system. That's how to encourage early support, teach coping, mindfulness, and problem solving, foster gratitude and peer empathy, create safe spaces for open expression, and then of course escalate to the parents if the children have any mental health issues at the early signs. And you need to integrate mental health system in your school. So embed emotional literacy, care rituals, recovery logic into every subject, policy, and classroom culture. Promote awareness, so teach emotion, stress, and empathy. Reduce stigma through stories and open dialogue. Encourage early support, so train student and teacher to recognize warning signs, strengthen counseling and referral system. So in your classroom officer, you can now add another officer like mental health advocate or mental health officer. So in the classroom, you typically have president of the classroom, vice president, secretary, and then treasurer. And now you can now have your mental health advocate who can uh, cover mental health issues in the school. You need to build resilience, so introduce coping strategies, mindfulness and problem solving, foster gratitude and peer empathy. Foster inclusion, create safe spaces, promote respect, diversity, and zero tolerance for bullying. You should be able to call out bullying as well. Address harmful behaviors directly, empower student to speak up and seek help if he or she is being bullied, because that will cause a lot of mental health problem. Support inclusive and intelligent learning. So for celebrate neurodiversity and emotional literacy, and then design classroom for multiple intelligence. So there are kids who have many intelligence, so which is that could mental health education could identify that as well, not just trouble students. So engage family and community. So offer parent literacy and wellness program, partner with NGO, paid groups, and local services. And for mental health for workplace, so create supportive, inclusive, and psychological safe workplace where employees can thrive mentally, emotionally, and professionally. This involves promoting awareness, early support, resilience, and culture of empathy across all levels of organization. You need to promote mental health awareness, normalize conversation, and reduce the stigma through learning lessons and campaign, encourage early recognition and support. The same steps, right? Build resilience and emotional intelligence, foster safe and inclusive workspace, engage leaders and teams. It's the same, but the scenario here is different, right? A workplace is more complex than a school, and it might be more difficult than you are a student than you are now working. You need to um, you need to identify if it's work that's doing that, or there's really some mental health issues that's going on, right? Because if your team is just heavily tasked with work, then definitely that there's a lot of pressure going on, and you should have a mental health lead in your team to be able to call it out, like, hey, our mental health is already suffering, or I think we need some break, or we need something. And yeah, before fighting can occur in the place, or things like that. In more advanced workplace, there are actually two managers. One is your manager at work, the other one is your people manager who takes care about this. So the other manager is managing your daily work, the other one is managing your career and your personality and your wellness. So it's called people manager. So if you don't have that, you can make use of that one. So pretty much it's the same. It's awareness, recognition, resilience, and emotional intelligence, foster safe and inclusive workplace, engage leadership and teams. But the strategy is a bit different. So for the workplace, you can actually integrate mental health training as required training for your employees. So include mental health modules in onboarding, HR program, and leadership development. Host wellness workshop, conduct session on stress, mindfulness, and emotional intelligence. Establish support system, offer access to counseling, helplines, and peer support network. I think PhilHealth is also now supporting pre-consultation for mental health. Run awareness campaigns, poster internal newsletter, storytelling to normalize mental health care. So it's just a matter of strategy. You can do this also in school, so you can post mental health hotlines in your buildings or in your infrastructure. You also need to build an empathy culture, train managers to lead with compassion, listen actively, and model balance. Celebrate well-being, so mark mental health awareness month and reward wellness initiative and advocate. And actually, the workplace is the first place that sounds of mental health in the Philippines. So which is crazy because the biggest suicide is coming from the urban poor, but our mental health training comes from the workplace. So it's much misaligned. So we can make use of people with mental health training from our workplace to disseminate that learning through the urban poor areas and other sector of our community. Because why do we have that in the workplace? Because it's very stressful, right? And it's also to improve the productivity. So let's go to a more complex setup now. We're applying mental health to education for community. So it's the same: raise awareness, encourage early support, build resilience, ensure access to care, promote inclusion. But the strategy again is different. So raise awareness now. You'll be doing outreach and educational campaigns in your local hubs. You can make use of your local government unit. You How do you encourage early support? So train leaders and volunteer to spot distress and sign. um yeah, if you know, for example, in places where suicide is most likely to occur, you can, you know, tell people that people might jump off this building or things like that, so they can intercept um, and yeah, spot distress sign. And then you can promote activities that nurture hope and connection. And then, so the strategy, the steps are the same, right? Raise awareness, encourage early support, build resilience. But here you need to ensure access to care. You need to partner with NGO, PhilHealth, and LGU and professionals. And you can make use of people in the workplace. You have one in your city because they're well aware of mental health education. You can make use of them to conduct seminars and training. So promote inclusion, so reduce stigma and spark open conversation. So how do we do that? More tips to do that. So you can use poster, radio spots, and social media to spread awareness and share recovery stories. So um, you can equip barangay leaders, youth volunteer, and church worker with basic mental health literacy. Create safe space and support circles. Establish community hub for reflection, counseling, and peer gathering. And you can partner with networks, collaborate with LGU, schools, and GAO faith-based groups to extend outreach and creative engagement. This is where you need to use artists, music, and other people to disseminate mental health education, to express emotion and celebrate resilience. So we can make use of music that encourages a lot of hope in the community. And then we can have dialogues and check-in. So PhilHealth's now opening this for free, so you can go to your barangay health centers and inquire, and then encourage open discussion during local meetings and events and family session. Um, yeah, so it's more complex if you're talking about mental health on a bigger community like a city, for example. But these are the guidelines that you can make use of if you're doing that. So again, my name is Joey. So thank you for watching. You can reach me through those channel. You can WhatsApp me or you can email me. You can also donate on our PayPal or on our Gcash, and you can invite us for a pre-presentation and trainings like this. So I hope to see you in more trainings, and that's all for now, and thank you for watching. So again, the way that you do mental health is almost the same. It's just the strategies is changing depending on the dynamics or of the organization. So it's just basically raise awareness, encourage early support, build resilience, access to care, or promote inclusion, things like that. And other, it depends if you're talking about school, if you're talking about university, if you're talking about community, church, or other groups. So that's what you are expected to learn in learning mental health education. So that's all for now, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in more of this training. Again, please feel free to support us. And yep, thank you for. I'm going to the first slide. So again, these are the things that we discuss. So yep, those are the goals for your mental health education. Thank you for watching.